There's something almost magic about a plant that comes back without you doing anything about it. You put it in the ground once and it just returns, season after season, getting bigger and better over time. That's the whole appeal of perennials. Here are 11 of the best long-blooming perennials out there, the ones that actually earn their spot year after year. Hellebore is the one to start with because it blooms when almost nothing else will. Depending on the species and where you live, it can be in flower anywhere from December through April, and when it blooms, it stays in bloom for a long time. The foliage is evergreen, broad, shiny, and makes an excellent ground cover. By late winter, those leaves often look a bit tattered and beaten up from the cold, but that's almost exactly when the blooms arrive, so there's always something to look at. Once flowering wraps up, the plant pushes out a whole flush of fresh new foliage that carries through the rest of the growing season. It does particularly well planted under deciduous trees, shaded in summer by the canopy, and flooded with winter light once the leaves drop in fall. Deer and rabbit resistant, partial to full shade in the warmer months, moist and well-draining soil. Most hellebore hybrids are hardy in zones 4 through 9, though Christmas rose varieties extend into zone 3 with some mulching and winter protection. Available in single petal and frilly double petal forms, with a wide and beautiful range of colours to explore. Salvia, specifically a perennial variety like May Night, is one of those plants that earns real respect in the spring garden. It blooms in late spring with tall, upright spikes of very deep, almost indigo purple, and pairs beautifully alongside roses. After the first big flush of blooms, deadheading brings a second wave. Deer and rabbits want nothing to do with it. It grows quickly, divides easily, handles drought well once established, and does best in full sun with moist, well-draining soil. Hardy in zones 4 through 9. Nepeta, or catmint, belongs to the mint family, which explains a lot about why deer and rabbits tend to leave it alone. It's wonderfully fragrant, pollinators adore it, and the bloom time is impressively long. Here's an interesting detail. Even as individual flowers begin to fade, the calyces hold a soft purple tone, so the plant looks like it's still performing well past the peak. Deadheading extends things even further. It comes in different sizes and heights, so there's almost certainly a variety that fits wherever it's needed. Full sun, good drainage, drought tolerant once established, hardy in zones 3 through 9. These are exactly the kinds of plants that can completely change how a garden feels from one season to the next. And there's a lot more like this coming on this channel. Hit subscribe right now. Geum, also called avens, blooms in late spring with flowers that look like small, delicate rosettes, stunning in shades of yellow, orange, red and pink. The foliage tends to stay semi-evergreen in milder zones. It draws pollinators reliably, and deer and rabbits won't touch it. Full sun to part shade, medium moisture, well-draining soil, hardy in zones 4 through 9. It gets overlooked far too often and really shouldn't be. Scabiosa, butterfly blue, the pincushion flower, might be the single longest blooming perennial on this entire list. It starts in very early spring, often as early as April, and keeps going all the way through to frost. The blooms are a soft lavender, roughly 2 inches across, carried on wiry stems above a compact, tidy mound of grey-green foliage. Worth knowing up front. This is a short-lived perennial, meaning it may return for only a few seasons rather than indefinitely. But what it delivers in that time is extraordinary. Full sun, well-draining soil, pollinators love it. Hardy in zones 3 through 8. Every garden deserves at least one. Verbascum or Mullein is the answer when a garden needs real vertical presence without high-maintenance headaches. The tall, stiff flower spikes are absolute magnets for bees and butterflies. Blooming from late spring into summer, with some sporadic reblooming in fall, it typically gives around 4 to 6 weeks of strong presence in the border. Relatively easy to grow from seed, loves full sun, needs good drainage, and handles dry spells comfortably once established. Hardy in zones 5 through 8. Southern Charm is a standout variety. Pastel blooms in creamy yellow, soft lavender, and warm peach, each with a fuzzy purple eye at the centre. Snowy Spires delivers the same dramatic, upright structure in pure white. Shasta daisies are classic garden perennials, and there's a reason they've held that status for so long. Blooming from late spring through early fall, consistent deadheading keeps flowers coming across that entire stretch. Pollinators love them, they make excellent cut flowers, and cut stems can last up to 7 days in a vase with a couple of water changes. Full sun to part shade, moderately moist, well-draining soil. Hardy in zones 5 through 9. Echinacea, the coneflower, is one of the most beloved garden perennials, and it earns every bit of that. In a zone 6 or zone 7 garden, it typically starts blooming in July and carries right through September, with additional sporadic flushes when dead-headed consistently. There are several varieties available now in a remarkable range of colours: classic purple, white, yellow, orange, pink. Even the spent seed heads serve a purpose. Left standing through winter, they feed birds straight through the cold months. Generally deer-resistant, though rabbits occasionally go after the lower buds, so a repellent spray now and then can help. Full sun, dry to medium well-draining soil, drought tolerant once established. Hardy in zones 3 through 9. A garden that flowers from winter's end through late fall, stands up to deer, handles drought, and feeds wildlife through winter. That's not an accident. Gardeners building spaces like that are the ones who keep learning, and this channel is here for exactly that. Hit subscribe. Rudbeckia, the black-eyed Susan, brings bold golden yellow from midsummer straight through fall. That warm, sunny colour pairs beautifully with almost anything: deep purples, soft pinks, dark foliage. The Goldsturm cultivar is probably the most widely grown variety, reaching around 2 to 3 feet in height. It self-seeds readily, quietly spreading itself around the garden over the years, which means free plants to move wherever they're needed. More sun means more blooms, and full sun means at least 6 hours of direct light per day. Not particularly fussy about soil, hardy in zones 3 through 9. Agastache Blue Fortune deserves real attention. It won't survive heavy clay or waterlogged soil, but plant it somewhere with real drainage, and it thrives with almost no intervention. The foliage carries a pleasant anise-licorice scent, not unpleasant at all, and pollinators work it throughout the entire day. Deer and rabbits leave it alone completely. Blue Fortune grows to about 2 to 3 feet tall and 18 to 24 inches wide, is sterile, so it won't self-seed and spread through the garden, and blooms from midsummer through early fall. Hardy in zones 5 through 9. And rounding things out, Sedum. If there's a perennial that rewards neglect more reliably than any other, it's this one. Too much water and too much fertilizer cause the plant's centre to collapse and flop open, so the entire approach is to leave it alone. Full sun, good drainage, and that's really it. Hardy down to zone 3, which means serious cold isn't a concern. The variety options are extensive. Neon, with its vivid lime green foliage and pink late-season blooms. Autumn Joy, with its rosy flower heads that pollinators visit right up through frost. Matrona, with its striking dark foliage. They come in different heights and habits. They're incredibly easy to divide, and once they're settled in, they just quietly keep getting better every year. Taken together, these 11 plants cover the garden from midwinter through late fall. They handle drought, resist deer, divide freely, and most of them multiply over time until there are more than enough to share, which is truly the best kind of problem a garden can give you.